In Los Angeles, we have a well-organized, highly sophisticated immigrant rights movement here, and they traditionally hold protests. They have all been peaceful. At the end of some of them recently, things got completely out of hand, but not to the point that we needed the federalization of our National Guard. The way this works normally is that a request would have gone to the governor from the local law enforcement authorities requesting assistance. That request never went out. And so to preempt and to take away the governor's power over the National Guard is over the top, and it makes us feel like we're a case study. What happens if the federal government comes in and takes over a city?
You know, we saw the press release from Friday, and the press release said that these protests were largely all peaceful. They actually thank the community organizers. I know there's a lot of work and effort that goes into also building trust between law enforcement and community organizers. But then the language and the rhetoric out of Washington and the Trump regime started escalating things. And they've always singled out you and Governor Newsom and Los Angeles in particular. I mean, do you think that, you know, this was always kind of a premeditated plan? He was just waiting for the opportunity, Trump that is, to do this?
Well, I mean, I think the irony is that we went through the wildfires and the Trump administration was very supportive of that effort. We're so far along because of that support. So this is like a complete change. And it's very frightening to the city. I just can't describe enough how traumatized families are. When people go to work and they don't know whether or not they're going to come home, when kids are not sure whether their parents are going to come home. I just learned this morning that at my grandson's, elementary school, that ICE was nearby. And so they're worried as to what's going to happen in a city that is 50% Latino, about 20% Asian, and there are immigrants from all around the world, the Caribbean countries, the African countries. And so that kind of when those raids happen, it creates a sense of terror. We don't know how long it's going to last. We've been told 30 days. We never know where the raids are going to take place. Several have happened today already. We're trying to get a handle on the details for all of those. But right now, there is a rally going on with thousands of people peacefully calling for the release of David Huerta, calling for ICE to stop what they're doing, and for the federal troops, essentially that power to be returned to the governor.
Isn't that very atypical and unusual as well? Isn't there always task force, local and federal, working together, hand in hand, because local, you know the community better than the feds often do. Feds often have a unique resource set. So whether it's going after the criminals and the bad guys, these operations seem to be targeting hard-working immigrant populations. But when it actually came to how do we actually get bad guys out, it was always working with local, state, and federal in task force. But here it just seems to be federal, not communicating at all, and not going after criminals, going after people working in factories and people who are in Home Depots and going into neighborhoods and schools and courtrooms.
How do you go from a drug den, that's what you're saying you're going to do, to a Home Depot and chasing day laborers, people who look for work every single day? What is the reason for that? What is the reason for going into some of the factories and plants? These are working people struggling to try to get ends to meet in our very, very expensive city. And so I just don't understand the logic in that. It is not keeping our city safe. If you want to go back in time, where was LA on Thursday? Fine, peaceful, nothing was happening. The minute ICE rolled into town, that's when the chaos started. And then add to that, bringing in federal troops. And so it's just felt like it was a kind of a deliberate situation. We pleaded and said there is no reason to do this right now. The violence that broke out several nights ago, it was with a group that was around 100 people. We are a city of 3.8 million. Our police force can take care of 100 people, and not all of them were committing violence. 20 of them were arrested. So if that was the pretense for bringing in the National Guard, it was a false pretense, which makes us feel like it's like deliberate chaos and that maybe we are a test case as to how this is going to go down in cities. It's so unfortunate. We're getting ready to welcome the World Cup in a year. And if anything, we need efforts to show unity in our city, not to try to divide us. And now we have vandalism that has to be dealt with. And then there is the collapsing of what a few individuals did to the broader immigrant rights movement that have been conducting peaceful, lawful protests for decades in the city.
So what would be your message right now if Trump and Hegseth and Homan are watching this? What's your message to them right now?
Stop the raids. This is not helping our city. It is creating chaos. Withdraw the troops, give the power back to the governor. And please, there is no reason for Marines. There is no reason for this. There is nothing happening here.
Mayor Karen Bass, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
Everybody hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers.
Can't get enough Midas? Check out the Midas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MidasPlus.com.